Let's make some noise. Good running. John Deere out of Ocean, Iowa coming up. We got one right behind you.
Hey, howdy, and hello, everybody out there. Welcome to Let's Grow Pulling Monday night, 8 o'clock every single Monday night. September the 16th, live right here from the split offices. I don't want to say split headquarters, but from the split offices. Mike Eitel right here from the great Show Me State of Missouri. Kinsey up there in Richland Center, Wisconsin, coming to you live from the official Beer Money Pulling Team headquarters. Kinsey, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good. How are you?
We're doing awesome. Big, long weekend of pulling. You and I were on the road throughout Iowa. You worked a little harder than I did this weekend. Saturday night, we were in Bedford, Iowa, working with outlawpulling.tv. I decided to go back home and prepare for my real job while you were busy with the rest of the crew, getting the band back together up in Spencer, Iowa, where I believe all but 4 classes for the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association have now concluded their season. I think they crowned like 8 or 9 new points champions out there. Let's go ahead and recap the weekend, guys. We're going to kind of try a new format going through here. Let us know where you're watching from. Let us know what you have going on at home. Let us know what you want Kinsey and I to break down for you. Mr. Schultz, the fearless leader of Beer Money Pulling Team, is en route to hang out with a Grand National champion, some guy named Chase Richardson, 2-wheel drive trucks, mini rods, full pull. Any of that ring a bell, Kinsey?
I think it does. I heard that at least twice.
So he's, I guess, whatever. The cat is away and the mice shall play. What's going on, man? Thanks for watching like you always do every single weekend. So we're going to recap the weekend. First 15 minutes of the show from now on are going to be dedicated to recapping, analyzing, breaking down anything that's been going on in the pulling world. After that, our guests are going to come on the show, talk about everything that's going on in the future. And then we're going to look way back. We're going to do a throwback. We're going to start breaking down some photos that I've been digging through the old annals of pulling and taking some trips down memory lane. So, Kinsey, let's talk about what happened this weekend. Big weekend for the Outlaws. I think there was a big show out in Ohio at the Dragway 42 and a little something called the Enderly. The Enderly. That's kind of like the thing. Kinsey, what comes to mind when you hear the words Enderly? When you hear the word Enderly pull-offs, what comes to mind?
See who's the best of the best. See who can get it done.
13 Grand National classes, 5 pullers. What's going on, Chuck? Chuck, your football teams are off to a pretty good start so far this year, I believe. 5 competitors from each of the 13 NTPA Grand National classes. I think how it works is they essentially take the top 5 finishers and extend an invitation, and then based on who's available, who's still running, who needs parts, and who doesn't, they will then kind of adapt their invitations, move right down the line. So it's an invitation. It's an all-star pull is what it is. It's the all-star event, So just like NASCAR has their all-star race or MLB has the home run derby and the all-star break, this is their all-star pull. To my knowledge, it's the only single session of pulling on the NTPA schedule where you will see all 13 classes. There are 13 Grand National classes. It's the only time where you'll see all 13 in a single session. Of course, you go to places like Bowling Green, you go to places like Toma, go to places like Rockwell. You'll see all 13 throughout the weekend. But for a single night, 5 times 13 makes whatever. Fun night of pulling. They let them get out and run. Now, up to this point, 418 was the farthest distance I had seen anybody pull all season long. 417 feet, though, came pretty close. Of course, we're talking about Bill Leischner and the Dirt Slinger. Kinsey, you've got a highlight video. You got a winner's video. Let's let me shut up and let's let the people just take a look for themselves. They let them get out and run. let's check out some Enderly winners from Urbana. Is that where this one's at?
Yep.
Urbana, Ohio. Yep. All right, let's take a look. A list of who's who in the pulling world. What's that? There was like a movie back in the 90s or 2000s. It's called The Usual Suspects or The Regular Suspects or something like that. That's like The Usual Suspects. That video plays like a who's who. You're just looking at it. You're like, oh, Blackburn, Ross, Vaney, Bauer. You know, I mean, that's just like the more things change, the more they stay the same. I wish I would have had my Dan Mayer style statistic brain working earlier in the day, because I should have calculated the average finishing distance for the winners at the Enderly. Those distances, 370, 370, 380, 402, 417. It's an all-star pull. It's an all-star pull. I know we're married to the idea of 300 feet's a full pull and 330 is a perfect sled, but if you're going to let the all-star swing for the fences, pull one of those weights out of the sled and let them get out and run. Are you a fan of the monster passes, especially at an event like that? Or do you like to see them kept closer to the traditional 300 to 330?
No, at that point, I think just let them run.
I couldn't
put on a show.
Couldn't agree more. And they've got the track. And if they're going to prep it all the way out, let them go. Let's grab a couple more of these comments. Beer Money Pulling Team, you know, it's taking over the internet, or at least it's taking over this podcast. Mr. Parade Alley says, I look like a state trooper. Guys, I don't know.
Yeah,
the mustache might be a part of the show from now on. My wife never tells me to do anything explicitly. She just is very supportive of what I do. She looked me dead in the eye tonight, and she told me to get rid of it. She hates it.
Really?
It's the first time in 7 years of marriage she says, get rid of the mustache. So let's come over here and do a quick breakdown. Guys, where can you go if you want live results or any stats? Of course, you can come over here, check out the Full Pull app. Full Pull is going to give you all of your NTPA results, your lineups, and everything. So just to kind of give this another quick rundown from the Enderly right over here. And it is worth mentioning, too, this is not just a Grand National pull. This is also an invitational pull from the regional national classes as well. I can see you holding back a laugh. I'm not even going to ask you what it's about. You've got some sort of witty text message.
It's it's Tyler's comment.
I like it. I like it. Maple syrup chug next episode, Super Trooper style. Ooh. You know, the State Trooper was not the inspiration. This was more of like a Travis Kelce, you know, a Western Regal look. But you know, I'll take what I can get. Mm-hmm. So at the Enderly pool, if we sort through here, lights, let's go to session 2 for the Grand Nationals class, light super stock tractors. Now the results say that Spiegelberg won that, but the highlight video had your boy Colton Whitworth going down there, laying down the monster pass and winning. Kenzie, if there's one thing I've learned about you this year, you're a big fan of that Whitworth pulling team. So, you know,
when I see them, yeah, because it's nice for them to.
What a story that team has put together. You know, I would say 10 to 15 years ago, I don't want to say just breaking on the scene of pulling. That's a family who's been pulling for a long time, but was certainly much more Midwestern based and kind of paid their dues and climbed the ranks. They've went about winning that points championship the right way. Big successful story for the team out of Putnam County, Missouri. Super stock diesel tractors, no surprise there. That's Colin Ross doing what Colin Ross does. We saw that. Super stock open, Terry Blackburn. I mean, it's just, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same. 363 feet. All this is right here on the Full Pull app. Be sure to download that. Check that out. Super Farms, Kurt Hartzell and the Plastic Money. I had my pick on the Checking Out tractor, guest driven by Kent Payne. Second time that I've seen Kent Payne drive that tractor. But good pass there. Pro Stocks. How about another Missouri puller right here? Braden Schromick laying down the big run, 383 feet. The Show Me State taking care of business at the Enderly. Mm-hmm. Chase Richardson. I mean, seriously, like I know he is Mr. Full Pull, but what a season he's put together. And to cap that off with an Enderly win, you know he's going to be feeling on top of the world this weekend. That's beyond awesome. Mm-hmm. Ike Zering. Think about what Ike did this season. Ike started his season driving through the wall at Louisville and finished his season driving through the end of the track at Enderly. So that's a fun little narrative right there, too. That guy
beat the points champ by 0.5.
Let's go back and look at that. What was he went 376.840, and then Mark Mangan, the Outlaw, 376.360. So I don't have my mathematician Ron Stone with me.
No, me either.
That's close. 370.
Very close.
6. So I bet Ike can get a little animated. I bet Ike was pumped up for that. Jeremy Yeager with the Pipe Dream clocking in the number 1 spot. Look at this one, just passing through in class, 402 feet. The next closest semi was at 344. Yeah. When a semi gets a hold of the track, big things happen. Mini rods, of course, was Ken Vaney. Light modifieds with Corporal Punishment. Modifieds was the Mega Pass with Dirt Slinger. And then the Unlimiteds was Mr. Bauer. Bauer's one of those, like, he's really, really, really good at turning it up to 11 and walking away with a win. Whereas Emax, I think, is Mr. Consistent, Joe Ader, and wins points championship. If it's like a one-gun salute and you need a slinger to draw on, Bauer's one you can't count out. So congratulations, everybody at the Enderly. Congratulations to all the Outlaws who wrapped up their season as well. You can check that out also on the Outlaw app, the official app of the Outlaw Truck and Tractor Pulling Association. Kenzie, tell us about the pull in Spencer. I didn't make it up to Spencer. What was the general vibe? How was it different? Do you like daytime pulling?
Yeah, it's actually not bad. Getting done at early time is great. Sun out. But the crowd, granted that's a big grandstand, but the crowd was great. I could hear them.
Were they really?
Yeah, like
Good.
it's one of those. It's at a racetrack, so like we're here, the crowd's up here, and I could still hear the crowd. So
they were engaged. They were having a good time.
They were
Going back to some of these over here about letting them get out and go. Yeah, let them run.
Mhm.
Oh, you're looking at. I bet you're laughing at Dale's comment.
Oh no, I laughed at Tyler's. I didn't.
Did you see Dale Bartle's comment over here?
No, I did not.
Cole, good to see you, bud. Yeah, I was here last week. It's just much more pronounced this week. Cody Skluzacek says Nasty Boys have won the regional 4-wheel drive the past 3 years in a row. Let's go ahead and break those down in a second, too. Yeah. We'll get to that in just a second. Now, Terry Caskinet says, very good point. I'm not sure what Kinsey said, but I'm sure that it was a good point. I'm sure we agree with that.
We'll just say yes.
She says, parade. Yeah. That's the mustache, you know, this is taking over the podcast. Don't let the mustache be the only thing that you remember from the Let's Grow Pulling podcast. Yeah. So the fans were engaged. It was a big grandstand. It was a big track. It was a big show. Light Superstock Ag wrapped up their season. Yes, we will talk about it, folks. There's stuff to talk about. We will talk about it. We're going to get to that. No doubt about it. There's some things to be talked about in that class. But congratulations, Corey Schluter in the barn burner winning this year. He bookended his season. I don't know if you realize this, Kinsey. He started off the year with a win in Ravenna. He finished the year with a win in Spencer. His pass at Ravenna, the first pass of the season where we went 397 or something like that. You know, it was a thing of beauty. He kind of took the lead and never looked back. So, and I'm sure we'll talk about this on Outlawed Live tomorrow night as well. So I won't spend a ton of time breaking this stuff down. Keith Hammonds in the Pro Stock 4-wheel drive truck wins his gajillionth consecutive. I think that's the accurate number for where he's at. Congratulations to him. 4-wheel drive truck class, the backdraft piloted by Team Thornton. Another one that kind of took the lead early and never looked back. Wrapped up their season. Diesel Super Stocks, Tyler Beckman. Yeah. Was your points champion right there. That was a class I thought was going to be anybody's game for a while throughout the season, including, you know, kind of right here. I thought the Remedy was going to come hard charging in that one. Battled some bugs throughout the year. That's Diesel Super pulling. Light Limited Pro Stock, Andrew Meister in Dirt Sling and Demonstrator wins his first ever points championship. Congratulations to him. That was a dogfight. That point series was a dogfight. And like I said, folks, tune into Outlawed Live tomorrow night where I'm sure we will talk about this more in depth. Limited Pro Stocks, George Beyer. The more things change, the more they stay the same, right? Are you shocked? Are you shocked to hear that George Beyer inside Piece won the Limited Pro Stock class?
With the season he had, no.
And
he
then
had an amazing season.
Light Super Stocks was that Green Lightning?
Yes.
I think Green Lightning came away victorious. And then Light Pros, the 540, Constant Chaos or Rugrat Rampage? I think. Rugrat Rampage came out on top of that. So congratulations to all of them. And yeah, Cody, let's take a look at those regional pullers as well. Yep, David, David Vandenberg, what happened to the two tractors at Spencer? How close were you to it? We're going to talk about that just as soon as we acknowledge some of our regional national champions from the Enderly as well. Definitely, we're gonna talk about it. So back over on the Full Pull app, hitting my results. Session 1 at the Enderly. Now, Kinsey, you're gonna have to help me with this because I don't follow the regions as closely as you guys do. I look at Grand National a little bit more, but we'll check these out. Light Limited Super Stock. My app. Mohawk Warrior by Jeremy Roth. Wins that one by over 60 feet. 377 and change. So that's a mega pass. Classic Super Stock. A class that I watch like not very often. I watched them for the first time ever at the Enderly last year. Thought they were really cool. Smoking Ace. David Spillman with 317 feet. Oh, Bill Casey, there's one we know. The Whoopie Maker and the Super Farms, your National Farm Machinery Show winner. So big season for him. That'd be a fun one. There's a Dan Mayer style question for you. How many drivers have won the National Farm Machinery Show and the Enderly in the same calendar year?
Same
That's
year.
a fun trivia question. So congratulations to Bill Casey with that. The Power Hound in the light pro stock of Hunter Beasley wins his by about 10 feet. The limited pros, Hooterville Hammer, Tori Keefe goes 399 and a half. So we're about a half a foot shy of the 400-foot mark there. Hot Farms, Endless, Brian Carrington takes away the win. Two-wheel drives, Showtime, Wayne Timmerman. Wayne Timmerman's going to make a really interesting appearance in the throwback session later on. Did you see the picture? Cody Skluzacek, if you're watching, did you see the picture of my 2-year-old self sitting in the two-wheel drive super modified truck? That was Wayne Timmerman's truck 32 years ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that took some serious research, but we were able to nail that down. Modified trucks, nasty boys, getting the job done by 23 feet. Super stock 4-wheel drives, a class I've never seen. Out of the blue, pro stock 4-wheel drive diesel trucks was the smoke show. Mini rods, Fallout with the Picsig team. Good for them.
Yeah.
And then your mods, the Jury Next Generation, driven by the Bargies. I love seeing that tractor coming back and being successful. That's one that's been up and down and all over the place. So always fun to watch them be successful. Cody says he saw it. Yeah. So see, I've been behind the wheel of a pulling vehicle. Hey, Kinsey, before we talk, let's take a quick break before we talk about the incident. I don't even want to say the incident, just the event of Spencer. Why don't you play us a quick commercial? We'll talk about that, and then we will talk about the big news coming to us out of Farley, Iowa. We got lots of cool stuff left on the show. Let's take a break and see some of those commercials real quick.
Coal Train Energy is American-made energy and Midwest based in Syracuse, Missouri. Free shipping is available at coaltrainenergy.com. Check out their new flavors online.
GMS Manufacturing and Machine. Helping you build a superior foundation with top quality parts and service. Give Brent a call today.
All right.
Got several people chiming in here. Dick Blankenspur is watching from Inwood, Iowa. Thanks for tuning in. Chandler Pickler out here helping us all win Scrabble with the favorite word of the day, Bringo.
Bringo.
If you know, you know. Randy Proctor says Bill Casey's leading regional national Region 2 super farm with 2 pulls to go. That's a hard running tractor. That Whoopie Maker tractor is a stout runner. Terry Caskineth watching from Iowa. Jim Harmon watching from Cedar Rapids. Nice. All right. Bunch of good people out here watching. Yes, light super stock ag class. We can't do a weekend recap and not talk about some of the things that happened. Congratulations to all the winners out there. Congratulations to the points champions. I was watching from home. You were watching live. I was watching on outlawpulling.tv. Chuck Schluter hooks to the sled in his 4020 dual turbocharged light super stock ag machine that he calls the Barn Buddy. Was on a whale of a pass, carrying the front end perfectly, just dangling that thing 13 inches above the ground. And the block split. I hate to say it, this happens in pulling. Things go boom, things let go. This is motorsports, folks. We're cranking things as hard as they can go. We're pushing the power of man and machine to the edge. We're doing it for the fans. Last pull of the year, so it's got several hooks on it. He's chasing the check, chasing the points. That one I thought was a beautiful example of the safety equipment working the way it should, with the cables that go over. And folks, I'm not Mr. Mechanical here, so I'm going to, if I misspeak, forgive me, but with the cables going over top and then forcing that top half of that block forward as opposed to blowing backwards. And you can even hear on in the video analyzing just that. So top half of the block split, big boom. I mean, this is one of those where it's going to be all over the internet. We spoke with Chuck and we spoke with Jeremy Paulson, and they gave permission to the Beer Money Pulling team and media outlets. They said, go ahead and post this stuff. This is for people to see. and to do with the conversation as they please. The conversation for me, Kenzie, is safety equipment works. You know, we saw 2 drivers unbuckle. They were, you know, rattled because things go boom, and that's not always a comfortable situation, but walked away and went home to their loved ones scratchless. You know, if we're going to live in the world with this motorsport that we love, that's what we want. Safety is number one, and we saw safety equipment work this weekend. That's what I walk away with. If you walk away from this and say, oh man, you know, maybe a component class is for me, or maybe I'm going to examine this on my tractor or whatnot, wonderful. But they did say they were comfortable showing that, or letting us show this. So yeah, big boom, motor on the track, engine on the track after Chuck Schluter laid that out there. Biggest boom we'd seen all season. How confident were you at that point that that would be the biggest boom that we would see for the whole year?
For the whole year?
Yeah, you were without a doubt.
95% confident.
At this point, you are undoubtedly saying this is the number one, you know, crazy ride I'm going to see. Nothing's going to top this.
Nope.
Until what was it? Maybe 2 tractors later?
Yeah, 2 or 3.
2 or 3 tractors later, same class, light super stock ag. Jeremy Paulson drives a vehicle he calls a Hawkeye Hooker, hard running single turbocharged machine, larger cubes in this one, and split right at the rear of the tractor, you know, right where, and if you understand, I know just enough about tractors and mechanics to sound like an idiot, but of course these are the 2 major pieces in agriculture in a tractor. That's kind of how they're built, how they're assembled. And it let go, you know, and we've seen this in the world of pulling at various levels happen before as well, Kenzie. You know, this is one of those things that happens. Safety harness, the hitch, the hook, everything came into play to where Mr. Paulson walked away completely fine. So late in the season, pushing equipment hard. And, you know, maybe that's something to be said as well. And like I said, I don't want to overanalyze this because we'll talk about it on Outlawed Live tomorrow as well. Hook, I think all sleds adopted a hook this year where they had a larger wedge on the end of it for further hook security. And this was a point that was brought up, you know, that hook staying in there kept him in a very manageable position. So this stuff worked. The videos are on Beer Money Pulling. They're on Outlaw. The pictures are on Beer Money Pulling on Outlaw. Do you have any of them handy right now? I know we weren't. So if you want to throw some pictures up here just to give the folks a shot of kind of what we're looking at.
Let's skip ahead a little bit.
Jake Lashaway from Camden, Michigan is watching. Thanks for watching. How did Pumpkin Gone Mad? We'll go back and check that out. Mark Fisher watching from the cornfield. Happy harvest, my man. Hope everything's going well. Cole Lundahl, who was there operating the camera, says he's watched Jeremy Paulson's pass many times since yesterday. Every time it makes my stomach churn if things didn't happen the way they did. Could have been much worse. Glad he was okay. Yep, the safety equipment worked. So take a look at Chuck Schluter right here. This is a good old-fashioned big boom is what this is. Yep. So you can see where that propelled everything forward, just as the safety cables are intended to do. You guys interviewed him later on, and I think his exact words were that the block was tired. You know, it was. You get runs on these things happen. So, and like I said, we don't want to dwell on this too much because this will be something broken down more on Outlawed Live tomorrow night. But the safety equipment worked. Do you have anything from Paulson on there?
I do.
We'll take a quick look at that, and then we'll talk about the big show in Farley, Iowa.
Share window, this one, share. Let's get some volume on this thing. Open it up and play.
Yep. So as you can see, there he is right there walking off the track unscathed under his own power. You're pushing man and machine to the brink for you know the sake of truck and tractor pulling, the sake of any motorsport. Sometimes mechanical things don't hold together, but because of the work put in and the dedicated amount of research to people who've been around this sport for decades, it's, you know, the drivers were safe. The safety equipment worked, you know, simple as that. Let's lighten the mood. Let's get fired up. Big news from Farley, Iowa. Simon Motorsports, Simon Pulling Team has announced a 2025 sign-up pull. I wouldn't call it an invitational pull, a sign-up pull. They've already taken registration. A lot of the classes, Kinsey, I think are already full, where they are looking at having the biggest purse in pulling history, period. $50,000 per class. I believe that's per class. $50,000 per class. RJ Simon was going to come on tonight. He was going to tell us all about it. He was going to be our featured guest. He's not feeling well. He's under the weather. I'm sure he's been working hard and caught the ick. We've got a video from him on his Facebook page. We'll let RJ virtually tell us everything we need to know about the 2025 Farley 300 truck and tractor pull. Folks, this is big news. Kinsey, when you have that video of his geared up, go ahead and play that.
Let's play that. Share screen. Share. Open.
Hi, everybody. Hey, RJ here, doing a quick live. Wanted just to touch base. Let's talk about the pull here in Farley, June 12th to 14th, 2025. Putting on some big purses that have really never been out there before. There's I don't know of any pull in history that's paid $50,000 in 5 classes, and we're doing that June 12th through the 14th. Pullers, if you're not on, we got over 100 entries already out of the 250 total. So there's classes are filling up. The limited pro and the pro stock class are obviously the fullest 2 classes right now. They're 3/4 filled. We just want to get the rest of you on there. I want to get the data to make sure I got enough pullers that are coming, and I know it will. I know it's going to happen no matter what. It's going to go, and I'm really excited. Just wanted to jump on here quick and just talk about it. We're trying to promote pulling and make it better and bigger and bring some more money to the sport. And, you know, 50,000 is a lot of money. I know 2,500 is a lot of money to put up, but, you know, as a promoter, that's where I kind of felt we needed to be, and talked with a lot of people, and we're going to do this. We're going to do something smaller, maybe do a smaller purse, but this is the we're going big right away. If you know us, that's how we do it. Obviously 42 hooks, that 42 entries in each class pays for the purse that I put out there early last week. Anything over 42, we're planning on giving that money back into the purse, however we funnel it down. We're not trying to keep a bunch of money. You know, we're trying to make this about the pullers and about the sport and just grow it. And that's all we're trying to do. And just bring the next big thing to pull in. And, you know, everything about it's going to be different, you know, how we scale to tech. We're going to have a, you know, good tech.
Did we freeze up?
Yeah.
It's that Wisconsin dial-up coming into play again, isn't it?
It is. It's yeah.
That's fine, because this is a good time to pause and discuss everything that RJ's talking about anyway. So June 12th, 13th, and 14th, double check my dates. I think that's where we're at. June 12th, 13th, and 14th, I believe he said. Thursday, Friday, Saturday in Farley, Iowa, 2025. They are doing a poll where you can register. Now, Kenzie, as I understand this correctly, there's essentially a buy-in. Your hook fee goes back to paying for the purse. Now, the hook fee, you know, we're going to play big, we're going to go big. $2,500, I think, is the number that I've seen thrown around and seen talked about. $2,500 hook fee. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. Here's the format, the way that I understand this is going to work. Very, very, very much like the National Farm Machinery Show. It sounds like there's going to be 21 to 25 pullers per class per night. 5 classes last I knew. They're looking at a 6th. We'll kind of go through and double check that. And Michael, yes, he did mention, we'll talk about those 4-1s and big pros about how they're already full. So classes that I know as of right now: pro stocks, limited pro stock, 4-wheel drive trucks, mini rods, and 2-wheel drives. They're going to basically Thursday and Friday are qualifying. So there's like 42 to 50 vehicles per class, 21 to 25 per night. Just think about this, just like the pro stocks do at the National Farm Machinery Show. 10 hooks every single night. Top 3 go to the finals for a total of like 12 or something like that. Or there's 12 every single night, and the top 3 go to the finals for a total of 12. Now, as far as that, later on in the video, he talks about how I believe there's going to be 10 vehicles per class that qualify for the finals on Saturday night. And he even mentioned doing a lucky draw award where don't go home. This is something, this is all in the figuring out stage. That, you know, RJ, they're going to have the pull. The pull's guaranteed. Hammering out some of these finer points down in here. They're thinking about doing a drawing. Top 10 qualify. They go on, throw all the names in a hat, draw one out. One of the guys that didn't qualify, hey, look at this. Lucky so-and-so. They're pulling in this class for a total of 11 every single night. Now, as far as the specifics, this is where, we'll get with RJ and ask him. I don't know if it's top 10. I imagine, Kinsey, it'd have to be top 5 after each night.
I would imagine so.
I don't imagine it would be top 10 total distances, because due to sled settings and changing track conditions, I just don't think that would be how they would do it, but I can't say for sure. But I would guess your top 5 Thursday night, your top 5 Friday night, come back together Saturday night. And they are, of course, going to pay down to several.
I think every spot.
At every spot?
But yeah, let's look.
I knew they were going to pay down. This is basically they have one vision: create the single biggest purse in pulling. How do you feel about this? Is this a match made in heaven in your mind when you look at the Simons and what they mean to the pulling world and the facilities they have there in Farley and the sport moving in the direction that it is, just getting as big as it's been getting lately? What were your thoughts when you saw RJ and Brandon and the whole Simon Says team come out and discuss this?
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's
different. Granted,
Sure.
I know pullers have pulled at Farley before, but it's a nice facility, lots of space. I don't know. I think it's a good idea.
I really wonder, and one of the questions I was going to ask RJ tonight, and if you want to like flip through some of these pictures talking about the facility, because I feel like I'm interviewing RJ right now because he's frozen right on my screen. So I feel like, RJ, you're not feeling well, but we're hanging out with you in your shop, nonetheless. So one of the questions that I would have asked him is, they've put a lot into that 300 raceway at Farley over the past couple of seasons, adding asphalt all around the fan areas. They have a big reception area for the fans. And I just kind of thought, like, once they realized just how good of a job they done and what a nice venue they created, is that kind of where the seed got planted. I wonder if they said to themselves, wow, we've got something really nice on our hands here. How do we keep taking this to the next level? Now, they seem like people who are always looking to go to the next level. What's that next new thing we can we can campaign? What's that next points championship we can chase? So I wonder if, as they really built their venue up, if they didn't say, how can we make this pull up at the next level? But just them doing what they're doing for the pullers. This is an idea that between the Pullers Championship and Bowling Green or whatever, that idea of a mega purse has really been at the forefront of pullers' minds for a while. So this is another great attempt to see them giving back to the pullers and kind of making that happen. 300 Weight Raceway might have its own Facebook page, so they might have some pictures on it there as well.
Yeah, this is all the payout placing. I don't know if you can see that or not.
So yeah, this is like your payouts. And look at this. It's not, so when people talk purse, Kinsey, if they say $50,000 purse, like what that means to me is like 50,000, like divided by however many spots they would pay to.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of those things we would double check with RJ if he's here, but that right there says $50,000 to the winner. You know, that's not $50,000 in total money for the whole class.
Right.
If you were a puller and you won $50,000 at a single event, 2 sessions of pulling, that's crazy big. That's really, really cool. That's big time. And this is a question I get a lot when I'm responding to stuff on social media. You know, how much does a modified puller make when they win? And how much does a 2-wheel drive puller make when they win? It depends. It depends on the venue. It depends on the sanctioning body. It depends on the size and the budget and just, you know, what they're putting up. But I will say this $50,000 to the winner is very impressive. This is going to be the big time payout pull. Hit some other comments over here. Russ Dostal says Simons are willing to push the envelope and pulling for everyone. So it's interesting with me. When I looked at this, Kins, I kind of thought, you know, that's incredible, but $2,500, like that's, that's big boy entry fee.
Yeah,
and
it is.
When I heard the words $2,500 plus 50 pullers per class, I was like, you know, I know pullers have deeper pockets than I do, but are they going to find, you know, are we going to have to make some phone calls to get pullers to come out to this? Evidently not. Because the 4-1 class and the big pro class are already full. Cool. This was announced less than a week ago. This was announced less than a week ago. The pull is not until June of 2025. And folks, you know what? It's like getting tickets to a Chiefs game. You know, if you didn't click buy early, you know, they're already sold. They're already out. Do the Packers have that problem, Kinsey? Yeah, I'm sure they do, but
no. There's a waiting list for us.
No, seriously. Yeah. So that's right. That's right. Getting into the pro stock class at Farley is like being a season ticket holder at Lambeau. Like, you know, get on a waiting list. We'll call you in 20 years or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
But no. So that told me, the message that said to me was the pullers fully supported this. This wasn't like, oh, can we, should we, what? It was like, no. We love this. We are all on board on it. So the pro stock class is already full. Limited pro stock class is full. I saw the 4-wheel drives and minis. They're still looking for entries on those. I think he made a post on that. They've got 22-wheel drives, 24-wheel drives, and 11 minis. They want them to go ahead and get registered. See what Parade Alley. Do you think in the next 20 years a Grand National event might have $1 million total purse, Bowling Green, Toma, etc., or ideas? I have always been curious about this idea. There's a sign outside of Chapel Hill, Tennessee, and I don't know how accurate or modern it is, but the last time I was there, it like straight up said, it like posted how much total prize money was being given away. It was impressive. Let's put this up here again. I would love to see that, you know, a total Within the next 20 years, if we keep trending the way we're trending right now, I think pulling is bigger than it's ever been. I think it's moving in the direction it needs to be moving. The fact that 50 pro stocks within a week said, absolutely, we want to be there. We want to do that. The drivers are doing their part. I think we as fans need to make sure we're doing our part. I'm a big believer in this. Fans, at the end of the day, why are the Packers good? Why are the Chiefs good? Because there's 70,000 people in the seats every single week buying tickets, paying the salaries of those players out there. I think we as fans need to be there, and in whatever capacity that looks like. Of course, it's not feasible for me to drive to Benson, North Carolina at the drop of a hat on a Friday afternoon when I get done teaching. Pay for the live stream, be a pulling fan. Be a pulling fan because the pullers deserve it. We always see comments like this. We see right now the pullers are doing their part. And they're saying, yeah, we're willing to pay this entry. We're willing to come play. What we can do is we can be there, and then buy a corn dog from the fair because the fair needs to make money too or whatnot. So
to have that pull.
Yeah, absolutely. So just be a pulling fan. That would be my statement. This is our thing, So if you're a pulling fan, drive to pulls, go to pulls, pay for the gates at pulls. Think we can get there if the pull keeps growing, pulling interest. That's our goal, man. That's what we love to do. So big things in Farley. They have the facility for it. The pullers are obviously giving their feedback that they support it. What would the energy, Kenzie? You go to a lot of pulls. You probably, I would say, you go to more pulls. I mean, easily. You've been to more pulls than I have. Tell me what the energy would feel like. You felt every single type of pull out there from okay, well, it's a Tuesday afternoon, we're kind of getting through to it's Saturday night in Bowling Green. What would the buzz at this guy's hooking for 50 grand? You just think about how the announcer would announce that. Think about what the guy sitting back there who's in first place with 10 to go, What would the buzz, what would the energy be like at a show like that from a fans or a producers or a media perspective?
I think it'll be nothing short of electric because they're like waiting to see what's going to happen and just like a thriller movie, I guess. Like
I think, the suspense. I think when you think about that, because a lot of times you sit back there and there's no wrong way to watch a pull. But you sit back there and it's Saturday night and you open up your cans and, you're watching them go down and you're commenting on how beautiful every tractor is. And, well, Ross got me this time or Lane got him that time or whatever. And tomorrow is another day. But when you watch a driver down there nervously pacing back and forth because he might walk away with a $50,000 purse, you're going to have fans on the edge of their seats. Heck, you might have fans standing the whole time.
Yeah.
So, beautiful venue they have here. Now, I think all of this is paved now. I think everywhere that's gravel, if I remember correctly.
In the outside pits, like here is still gravel. Here's the racetrack. Here's a pulling track. This is inside. So, like out in here is all paved.
But everywhere the fans would walk is what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yes.
Except for
everywhere the fans would walk. Yeah, of course, they still have their circle track. They still have the pulling track. But anywhere a fan would be, a fan would not touch gravel at this venue.
Unless they go off to the pits, off to this. No, I can see my mouse. Off to the side here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but way off to the left side there. That's grass pits. But otherwise, everything else is is blacktop.
And Farley's such a good venue for this. And this is not to take anything away from the Wisners and Rock Valleys and Bowling Greens and Chapel Hills and Tomas of the world or Hillsboro, but Farley, the facilities are great, but it's such an awesome place to congregate agriculture and the whole family experience. This is where the Eitel manufacturing plant, if you collect Eitel toy tractors, all Eitel toy tractors are made in Farley, Iowa. The National Toy Museum of toy tractors is in Farley. Heck, it's where doggone Field of Dreams The greatest baseball movie of all time was filmed. Everything about this says, bring the family here, come and watch. And then, yeah, if we pack 30,000 fans in here or 3,000 or whatever, because I'm not good at estimating fan attendance, but you know, if you pack in 5,000 fans, 10,000 fans, 3,000 fans, whatever, this is good for pulling. This is what we want. So got some more comments over here. When someone wins the showcase showdown on Price is Right, it'd be like winning the Price is Right. Yeah. Cole says it's like in Louisville with putting the top 3 in the corner. It keeps the fans watching and hoping that their favorite driver stays in the corner till the class is done. It's about building suspense. Yeah, absolutely. I love that Louisville does the bubble. They actually build the bubble. Another place that does that, random and interesting, is another big pull right there in Kentucky, Brandenburg, the outdoor pull at Brandenburg with a really interesting venue. Actually has a location where they will park the top 3 and then move them out just like at Louisville. So super excited for Brandon and RJ Simon and the whole Simon Says Motorsports crew and team. Super excited for Farley, Iowa. June, make sure I'm saying this right, 12th, 13th, 14th?
14. Yep.
2025, 300 Raceway, Farley, Iowa. Pro stocks, limited pro stocks, 4-wheel drive trucks. Kenzie, that right there is enough to show that the show is made. Okay. There's gonna be 10,000 fans there just because of that. Mini rods, 2-wheel drives, and potentially a 6th class to come. $50,000 to the winner. What was that second place spot? Like 20 or 30 grand?
I think so. And hang on.
Do you realize I could pay the blue book value of my truck 10 times over if I won this thing?
You and me both.
That is where to put this in perspective, that's, that either says that I'm completely broke or this is a big pull, and it's a little bit of both, folks. So yeah, this is going to be awesome. Keep your eyes on this. The story is going to be developing. We'll have more details. Everyone's got questions. There's a lot of questions. Keep in mind, this is less than a week old. So those burning questions about, well, but the who and the how and the but what will and how will affect, and those will all be developed. This story is less than a week old. Here's what we know. Mega pull by a family that we know that can do it, and a place that we know can host it, and a purse that's already brought them out of the woodwork.
Yeah, second place is 20 grand and third place is 10 grand.
I'd get third. I would not be like the suspenseful guy. I would be fine with third place, but that's cool. That's cool. Did we miss anything on that poll? Is there anything that we didn't mention with the 300 Raceway Farley Nationals 2025 edition?
I don't think so. I think we got everything that we know of as of now.
You know that if it's affiliated with the pulling team Simon, it's going to be a big deal. So we've looked at the present right here with this weekend and what went on. We're looking at the future with everything that's going on next year in Farley. Let's try out our new segment and let's throw it back to the past. Kenzie, are you a fan of vintage pulling stuff? I'm like I like going backwards. I almost like going backwards more than I like going forward. Do you like looking at old pulling stuff?
I do. I 100% do.
So this has been kind of a passion project of mine that's developed into a little bit more. Started with just my personal Facebook page, then it went to the Beer Money page. Now it's here on Let's Grow Pulling. Let's check out some old school pulling photos. Fans, I want you to ask questions. I want you to give comments. I want you to tell me what you know and what you remember about some of these vehicles out here. Was really hoping RJ was going to be on here with us. We're going to transition right off the get-go with some of these. I've actually put these pictures on the Let's Grow Pulling podcast before, but I did a better job of it this time. So I was realizing today as I was scanning these in that these are two separate photos that I put together. And these are two separate photos that I had to kind of piece together and whatnot. This was a panoramic view taken before like panoramic was the thing. So everybody Kinsey, when you think of Roger Simon and when you think of RJ and when you think of Simon's, if I just say the word Simon Says, do you think modified? Do you think pro stock? Do you think two-wheel drive? I mean,
it's either the 4-wheel drive truck or the pros.
See, in today's day and age, I would agree. But I bet if you polled most people, the red Dodge Dakota two-wheel drive truck, the Simons were, Roger was a two-wheel drive puller. And two-wheel drive was kind of their bread and butter. But this is where they started. They started in the four-wheel drives. This truck has come back around to the Simon camp. I think it actually came back out last year, but kind of moving left to right here, you can see the Simon Says, the Showtime, and the Captain May I. I'm not entirely sure that all three of these were owned by the Simon family. I think RJ has told us before that one of them might have been the neighbor right up the street. What year would you guess this is?
Probably early 90s.
So we're going to go a little bit older than that. Yeah, Chuck Fowler, when you think of Simons, what do you think? You think two-wheel drive. Yeah, right here, another one says, Todd Brunage, what do you think when you think Simons? You think two-wheel drive? Interestingly enough, they started with four-wheel drives. This is stamped on the back of these photos, 1985.
Oh,
so
okay.
1985 is the timestamp on the back of the photos, which means that's the year they were developed. I'll give credit and assume that's the year they were taken, but then hypothetically they could have been taken before that as well. And so to kind of build the story, yeah, when we think of Simons, we tend to think of four-wheel drive, or we tend to think of two-wheel drive. And we move to this picture right here. This photo was taken in 1986. So we would know then that that's kind of where they made that transition, that they went from the four-wheel drive to the two-wheel drive. And of course, most people think of the red Dodge two-wheel drive pulling truck. But this is Roger Simon in his like Pontiac Thunderbird or something like that, or Firebird or something like that. These cars were all the rage. The funny style cars, drag strip style cars in the 80s were like a very popular thing. I was reading on this car today, 1471 blower, with a V8 Hemi in it, much like we're running today. But the description on it was making a whopping 1,800 horsepower, which, don't get me wrong, is a lot. But today these things are making about 3,000 horsepower. So, you know, they've come a long way. So I was hoping for RJ to give us some old stories about those right there. And then let's hit some tractors. Now, you and Chandler were talking to me in Buckner, Missouri. And you guys were saying it's always a lot of fun when like a random driver shows up, and you said, well, how cool would it be if Kevin Lynn showed up in Buckner, Missouri? And we were wishing upon a star, and Kevin Lynn did not show up in Buckner, Missouri, though he was freshly winning a points championship, I think, with Badger States. I always get Badger State and Wisconsin. Okay, I get Badger State and WTPA mixed up. I know I'm not supposed to, so forgive me. But he fresh off a points championship with Badger State. So he did not show up in Buckner, Missouri. But he did show up, and you might recognize this tractor, in Macon, Missouri in 1992. So this is from the 7,500-pound super stock class in 1992, Macon, Missouri. And what is it that we were saying the other day? How weird does a tractor look with no roll cages?
No roll cage, yeah.
So this is Kevin Lynn in Notorious Diesel, 7,500 pound, 5,500, 7,500, 9,500 were the three different classes back then. This tractor is still running. This tractor is the tractor, I think, isn't this the one that he just won the WTPA championship with?
Pretty sure.
And it made it so like this one was one of those that was a journeyman tractor. So Kevin Lynn, of course, famous driver. He's got the 504 Rocket is his alcohol burner. And then, of course, Notorious is where he kind of got things started, diesel burner. Made it back to him. Might even have like went through or around the Bobby Jones shop at some point. I think it came close to that area. So good looking picture of a hard running Ford right here on our throwback session. Congratulations to this specific tractor for winning its points championship this year. And I'll put another one on here that should be fairly iconic, fairly recognizable. Kinsey, have you ever seen this pulling tractor before?
It looks familiar.
One of the winningest 5,500 super stock points championships throughout all the 80s. This is the Country Dude that was unbeatable in the light super stock class in the 80s. Notoriously campaigned by Dennis and Alan Braybeck, the Braybeck brothers out of Iowa. This is one of those famous Alice Chalmers 180s or 190s of all time. But the funny story with this picture right here, after doing some research, the internet's great. You throw stuff up there and people, they'll correct you. The Braybeck brothers did not own this tractor in this picture.
Oh.
And I don't know who did. So people watching, I know for a fact this photo was taken in 1992. This is taken in 1992 at the Show Me Showdown in Macon, Missouri. 5,500-pound light super stock is what we would call them now. But the Braybecks actually commented themselves, and they said, you can see it doesn't have our name written on the hood, and we had sold it by then. And I replied, and I didn't get a response. Does anybody have any idea who bought this tractor from the Braybecks? Now, the current owners of the tractor commented, and they said it is coming back out next year as a light limited super stock coming out of the great state of Wisconsin. That tractor is now residing in Wisconsin. It was originally a diesel. It got converted to alcohol. It's going back to diesel, I think. I think my story is right there. So one of the most iconic tractors. Brent's saying, so Larry Wright bought it right after the Braybeck brothers. Brent, you're 100%. You're a person I would trust to know that information. So we'll go with one more, just on cool stories and whatnot. And Kinsey, I might have let the cat out of the bag. Might have let the cat out of the hat. Oh, he has it now. Okay. He has it now. All right. We still don't know. Like, there's a missing link.
Yeah.
Who owned it immediately after the Braybecks? That's what we need to know. Internet, do your thing and tell us. Now, Kinsey, I think I showed this tractor to you this weekend. Did I show you this, or was I showing? I might have shown Lauren. I might have shown Lauren Boyson. I might have shown not.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, okay. Well, Kinsey, do you recognize this tractor?
No.
You saw it yesterday. Entirely different owner in a completely different configuration.
Is that the Crazy Horse?
That's not a bad guess. This is now currently owned by Randy Dunclow. This is the Green Acres tractor.
Oh, yes. I did see it today. Okay.
This is now the Green Acres light super stock ag tractor burning diesel fuel. But in this picture, also from 1992, making Show Me Showdown, one of the greatest pulls that there ever was, 1992 version. This is Doug Palmer out of Quincy, Iowa, calls it River City Truck Sales, running on alcohol. This has got a Brent Long. This has either got a Brent Long or a Connor Brothers machine in it. It's one of those two. So hard running alcohol. I think it was owned by the Connor Brothers or built by the Connor Brothers. The Connor Brothers had, before the Connor Brothers had their white 2180 that they called Bad Medicine, they had a John Deere of identical setup to this one that was painted white with identical stacks to this one. And the internet tells me that they're not the same tractor, that this one was built ground up for Doug Palmer. Internet, go look at some pictures because they look very, very, very similar. So Country Dude went to Harry Wolski in Wisconsin, then to Jay Lurbs in Minnesota, and is now back in Wisconsin with Larry Wright. So Henry Wolski might have been the missing link we were looking for. Brent has forgotten more about pulling lineage. Anytime I do research on something and I'm like, hey, I want to talk about this tractor, I will message Brent and be like, hey, who owned this? And he'll give me like a monikered list of the pedigree of that tractor. Brent's incredible at that kind of stuff.
He's amazing.
Yep. So vintage pulling pictures. Kinsey, we looked at the past. Kinsey, we're looking forward to the future next year, 2025, Farley, Iowa. And we looked at what's going on right now in pulling with the Enderly, with the Outlaws wrapping up their season, with the regional national guys doing their thing. What are your closing thoughts? Is pulling just the greatest thing ever? Is it as simple as that?
Oh, yeah. Best sport in the world. Great friends, great tractors and trucks. It's just.
And trucks.
It's great.
We talked about that, how even when it's like truck pulling and I like truck pulling, it's still a tractor pull. Like even if I say like, you know, like I don't call it a truck pull, you know, even if it was like if we had semis, modified 4-wheel drive trucks, 2-wheel drive trucks, and like 3OD or something, like I would say I'm going to the tractor pull, you know, like that's what I call it. You know, it's a tractor pull. But folks, hope you had fun tonight. Yeah, no Jason Schultz, just the Beer Money pulling team employees doing their thing live from Wisconsin and Missouri. Thanks for watching. A lot of stuff going on yet before the year's over. Full pull going to be coming to you live with several pulls over the next couple of weekends. Farley's putting on a mega show next year. We'll be back next Monday night, 8 o'clock Central Daylight Time for Let's Grow Pulling. Kinsey, play us on out of here. What a great show tonight.
See you next week.
Let's make some noise. Good running. John Deere out of Old Deep Iowa coming up. We got one right behind you.